Yo, what's going on everybody? Gray here, and today I am excited to be bringing you our free-to-play and new player guide to Uru and Odin's blessings in Marvel Future Fight. In today's video, we're going to be going over the entire system from tippy top to the very bottom. Everything from Uru to Odin's blessings to amplifying to awakening and where to find them. And if that sounds like something you need to learn about or something you're interested in talking about, then you're in the right place, my friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Use those chapters as these videos can get long, and let's go ahead and jump into this thing. All right, folks, first things first, I want to take a look at the top right hand of our screen here. We're going to look at the main menu, down to the bottom right, Marvel Universe tab. You can see Enchanted Uru here. And I just want to let everyone know that if you're curious about what Uru there are, come in here. I'm not going to bother to list them all off or put them in an infographic because, by golly, Netmarble's done it for us. So you can just jump in there and look at that anytime you want to see the various items themselves. To make this easy today, we're just going to jump into the roster. We're going to take a look at a couple characters to explain things. And we're going to start by taking a look at my Scarlet Witch here. And we're mainly going to be looking at two screens for this guide video today. We're going to be taking a look at the details page for character details to look at their stats. Always make sure you have the show exceeded stats button checked to show overcapped stats. And we're going to be looking at the character gear screen, which is where you actually equip Uru to your characters. If we look at our Scarlet Witch here, you can see with Uru, and by the way, to get in here, all you got to do is click on the gear you want to work on, go to equip Uru, or just click on the Uru themselves. It'll take you into this screen where you can equip various Uru and Odin's blessings. For a standard PvE build, you are going to equip 2 of the relevant attack Uru for that character. So in this case, Scarlet Witch is an energy damage character. We can see that right here, energy attack under her details button there. So we're going to equip 2 of the relevant energy attack Uru, and then use the other slots to just sort of shore up our stats that we don't have capped. So in this case, a good example would be, I know that I need a CTP of Rage on my Scarlet Witch in the near future, pray for me, and we know we are going to need our crit rate and our dodge capped for that Rage. The Rage comes with a bunch of dodge on it, but all this is to say, I went ahead and equipped some dodge Uru to these non-attack slots for my Scarlet Witch in preparation, knowing that I'm going to need that dodge. So basically, the standard build for any character is going to be 2 of the attack Uru, like I said, and then you can just use these other slots to shore up any stats that you need to cap, following the basic priority of reduced cooldown duration, ignore defense, should be capped as well. Those should be your 2 first priorities. After that, if you're using a CTP of Rage, you want to make sure your crit rate and your dodge are capped. If you are not using a CTP of Rage and you are using, say, like a crit rate mini Rage, crit rate is going to be the next most important stat. And then without the CTP of Rage, you guys can help me here if you want down below in the comments, but I'm starting to feel like attack speed, crit rate, and crit damage are sort of evenly weighted, and the real answer is you just want to cap all 3. Exactly what order it's most important to do them in, hard to say, unless you're relying on a proc with crit or dodge. All right. Moving on to the next thing here, we are going to talk about a quick PvP build, and to do that, we are just going to look not at you. You wait, no, not you yet. We're going to take a look at Wolverine here, and you can see it's really, really similar, just 2 physical attack Uru here. And then I've used the other slots for a PvP build to equip 2 HP Uru, because HP is vital for PvP. And then I've also equipped some dodge here. I made this build a long time ago. There may be a stat that was better for me than dodge, but if we look in here, the only thing I'm missing besides the dodge is a little bit of attack speed. And I actually lost this due to a change in my cards, so I'm not in a hurry to waste Uru fixing a 0.13% lack in attack speed. Anyways, moving on, I want to show you one more thing here with the Uru, some more basic stuff really, really quick. Uru can be combined. You simply go to an Uru, and it's usually done from this screen, let's be honest. We go to the inventory, look at our Uru and Odin's blessings in the inventory, and in this screen you can combine up Uru, excuse me, not Odin's blessings. You can combine up Uru and attempt to combine Mythic Uru into Odin's blessings. There's a very small chance for that to happen. Take a look at it right quick, just so you know what you're shooting for here. It's a 0.2% chance, 0.29, so a 0.3% chance for each Odin's blessing. I believe there are 17 Odin's blessings in the game currently. I could be way off on that, but I think with the new elemental ones, that's where we're at. And Yeah, you have a chance to get those. Now, very important to note, we get combined chance up events. You absolutely want to wait for those. We get a discount on the gold cost, which is huge, because if you're combining a lot of Uru to try and get combined mythics to get Odin's Blessings, it can be very expensive gold-wise, and it's also a low chance. So make sure you're utilizing those chance up events, and I'll mention that again when we get to the tips. But that is how you combine Uru. Just be careful with your combinations. Like I said, the chance is low. There's like a large failure chance on combinations, so best to wait for the event when you can. All right, let me take a look at my notes here really quick, make sure we got everything Uru covered, and it looks like we do. So we are going to move on here, guys, straight to Odin's Blessings. And to talk about Odin's Blessings real quick, we're just going to take a look at Papa Null here. I'll show you what he's got going on. This is a 252, I believe, day-old free-to-play account. So keep that in mind. This is my best Odin's Blessing build. So going in here, it's really easy to break down. Odin's Blessings are basically super Uru. They have 2 stats instead of 1. The stats are a little bit higher. I do not think I have a non-awakened Uru to show you. We'll have to look in the bags. But a base Uru is going to give you 99 physical attack, whereas a base physical attack Uru is going to give us 82. And then once it is engraved, which is a system I'll talk about in just a moment, awakened, not engraved, you can get even more stats on an Odin Blessing. So they're basically just super Uru, and you want to save them for your really, really good builds. So anyways, with Uru, you can have 2 of the same Uru maximum. So only 2 of those attack Uru. That's why we use 2 instead of 5. With Odin's Blessings, you can only have 1. So for the Odin's Blessing build on my Null, for example, I have used a Strike Odin's Blessing on every gear for physical attack. And then I went ahead and used crit rate, crit damage where I could to help shore up some of his stats that are not capped. And then after that, because I did not have any Odin's Blessings left to equip with beneficial stats, right? At this point, all the stats that I could get from Odin's Blessings are capped, or I have one equipped, so I can't equip another one. So I went ahead and started equipping an Odin's Blessing into a slot that has skill cooldown on it, which I don't need, but I want the physical attack. So at some point with Odin's Blessings builds, you'll equip the stats that you need, and then you'll have to put in at least one slot, in a lot of cases, an Uru that just gives you attack. The other stat on it isn't necessarily beneficial. And then you can see here, I still have 1 HP Uru on each of these slots that I have not put an Odin's Blessing in. And I could, in this case, I have like balance or something I could still put in here, which is an interesting example of the only time you would put a item with energy attack on it on a physical attack character. And that's because, like I just mentioned, the energy attack would mean nothing and I would just be equipping this for physical attack. But in this case, I'm waiting for heal Odin's Blessings for the HP, which I have not been lucky with. Maybe I'll cave and we'll make this guy a glass cannon. I'm not sure. But anyways, that's the basic Odin's Blessing build. Since you can only have 1 of each, just equip the few that can give you the relevant stats if you still need them. You need to focus on that. If you're all capped on everything, just equip Odin's Blessings with attack. Make sure it's the right attack and make sure you have that magic for energy attackers and strike for physical attackers on your best builds. There you go. All right, guys, let's talk about the process of awakening and the process of amplifying. We'll talk about amplifying first here. You can see we've got these little spinning circles on some of our Uru slots here, right? And that is because they are amplified. And to amplify your Uru slots, keep in mind you're amplifying the slots on the gear, not the Uru themselves. So any Uru that goes in an amplified slot will receive the bonus. You just go into the amplification screen. You can amplify one at a time, or you can chain amplify. You can look at the chances to get each number of slots awakened right here. And as you amplify, if you get the same number of amplified slots you already had, nothing will happen. Nothing will change. Except if I got like 4 again, you can see I have 4 amplified. If I got another 4, it could move one of these to another one, but it will keep the 4 amplified slots, but it can like rearrange them. If I got 5, it would go ahead and just amplify all 5. And if I got 3, nothing would happen, which is really nice. You can't go backwards with this. You can only go forwards. I believe it's about a 1% chance to get all 5 slots amplified, and it is a bit expensive, so just keep that in mind. I think for free-to-play players, a really good bar to set for yourself is 4 amplified slots at least on each gear for main builds, and 5 if you can get it. Like here, we managed to get 5, which is really nice. And that's really all there is to amplification. The only tip I would give you is try to make sure your attack Uru and Odin's Blessings end up on those amplified slots if you can. Of course, don't spend crystals to like move an Odin's Blessing just to get it in an amplified slot. But yeah, that's the optimal way to do it. All right, guys, moving on. We are going to talk about Awakening here really quick. And Awakening is another system. Unfortunately, actually, I can show you. We'll just awaken. We could just awaken a random Odin's Blessing here because it really doesn't matter. Every Odin's Blessing eventually that you equip can be should be awakened. And all you do is click on Awaken. We'll do it. We'll do one real quick. Excuse me. Jump in here. Go in here. We're going to grab an Uru. This way I won't take up an extra inventory slot. We're going to take this Odin's Blessing will we have. All you do is click Awaken. Go in here. Awakening and Odin's Blessing requires at least one mythic Uru to awaken it. So we'll throw an energy defense Uru in here. You can see, let me look. I might have to move my head here. Well, you can see it costs 100,000 gold for this basic Awakening, and it costs 250 Eternal Flame. And you guys can see the Eternal Flame here. The Eternal Flame comes from Zombie Survival Mode, and as a free-to-play player, 252 days in, I have found that I do not have enough Odin's Blessings to create any kind of a strong, like, any bottleneck on the Eternal Flame. So I'm awakening every Odin's Blessing I equip. For spenders, larger accounts with way more Odin's Blessings coming in, you may have to watch your Eternal Flame. I'm not sure. But for me, I've got like 30,000 of it, as you can see. So anyways, all we do is we put in our Uru that we want to use here. You can see we have a 2% super success chance. And all that is this guarantees us an engraved Odin's Blessing, which is just going to boost the stats a bunch here. But we have a 2% chance to get an Odin's Glory, which is just going to be an even better super Odin's Blessing. So we have the 2% chance here, and I will show you really quick. I'll take my hand off the keyboard so I don't accidentally destroy something precious. If you do put an Odin's Blessing in here, the chance jumps up to 15%. And I swear I did this yesterday. No, looks like 15% chance. The super success jumps up a lot. However, you will not catch me feeding Odin's Blessings to my other Odin's Blessings, trying to awaken them. That's not going to be happening for me as a free-to-play player. Maybe a couple years down the road, who knows. Anyhow, all you do is put it in here, go ahead, click Awakening. You get your fancy screen, and there we go. Now, instead of a regular Odin's Blessing here, we have an engraved Odin's Blessing. We jump over into the bags here. We should be able to find it. There it is. And you can see the stats are just bumped a little bit. And once you put it into an awakened slot, the stats are bumped even more, which is very, very nice. All right, guys, so that's the awakening system in a nutshell. Let's keep rolling here. We're going to move on to the next thing. We've got awakening done. We've got amplifying done. What are we going to talk about now? Where to find these things. All right, guys. So starting at the beginning here, one of the things that I think is most important is when you are working on your Alliance Battle scores, keep in mind that for Alliance Battle Legend at 10 million points, or excuse me, 8 million points, and Alliance Battle Extreme at 10 million points, you get a guaranteed mythic Uru. So if you can get your account built to the point where you're getting these scores, they're really good goalposts to set for like an earlier mid-game account. You can net yourself one guaranteed mythic Uru from ABX every day. And then you can guarantee yourself with 8 million points from ABL, which can be a little harder to achieve, no doubt about it, a mythic Uru chest that can contain an Odin's Blessing. The chance here is relatively low. And when I say relatively low, golly, I didn't know it was that low, but it's low. But you can get an Odin's Blessing out of this chest, 0.0416. All right, let's move on here, guys. So getting your account built to the point where you're getting those Uru chests every day can be very beneficial. That's 2 mythic Uru every single day. Next thing we're going to talk about, to nobody's surprise, is my baby, my favorite, dispatch mode. In dispatch mode here, all the way down at sector 2-1, you can look at the rewards and you can see under the Uru section that you can actually get mythic Uru from stage 2-1 and higher of dispatch farming with energy. Other thing I'll show you, per usual, is that when you get up to Sector 7-1, the rewards change. You can see 6.5, they're silver. 7.1, they change to gold. And if we look at the Uru, you get the Mythic Uru, but you also have a chance to get Odin's Blessings from Dispatch as well. I love Dispatch mode. You should love Dispatch mode too. The Dispatch shop, there are Uru in here occasionally, but I will say they're quite expensive, and that is not necessarily a place I would recommend you pick them up. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, guys, is events really quick. We get a lot of events that give, not sure this one has any Uru. It does not. It's actually custom gear and cards. But anyways, we get a lot of events that provide Mythic Uru and Odin's Blessings. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for those. That's a really important one to mention, as there are a lot of Mythic Uru, and most of the Odin's Blessings I get come from events. Guided quests are another thing to shout out. I can't show them to you here as I'm done with them, but guided quests give you a bunch of Uru. They give you many chests when you're going through them all to build the characters you're doing the quests for, and some of the quests, you don't need to equip those Uru to those characters, so you can save them up and use them for a good build. Next thing I want to take a look at here, guys, I cannot remember exactly who on the stream pointed this out, but shout out to you. I did know this existed, but it had been so long since I thought about anything besides crafting comic cards with X-Men materials that I didn't even consider using these materials to craft Uru. And I will say, Mythic comic cards are incredibly valuable. They're one of those things that you kind of can never have enough of. But on my account, we have really good bonus options. We got pretty lucky there. They're not perfect, but they're good. And I have a stack of like 125 or 150 Mythic cards. So for me, if I was really hungry for Uru and Odin's Blessings, which I am, I might want to leverage some of my X-Men materials and gear up kits into these chests. As you can see, they can be very, very lucrative. This is actually insane. Triple jackpot and 2 5-stars. This is crazy. This is more than a Mythic Uru. So, well, I can't say that, but 1, 2, 3, 4 combines. This is pretty sweet. This is almost a guaranteed Mythic Uru here. So very, very nice. But again, you're robbing your Mythic card income to do this. So just keep that in mind and make sure that it's something you are willing to do on your account. Another one like that requires some explanation is going to be support shop tokens. And I am busted buns broke here because I was working on something. Excuse me. But I will show you here that there is an enchanted Uru chest. It's not as good as the chest you craft. You're less likely to get the Mythic Uru. There's no like jackpot or anything like that, but you can get Mythic Uru and 5-star Uru out of these chests. So another caveat, like another thing I gotta mention, biometrics are almost always what people are buying out of here. I get the gear up kits every day because they're what I'm lowest on. I do a lot of dimension missions, so I have a lot of debris and stuff, and I don't do a lot of custom gear as of yet. But keep in mind, most people are gonna be buying biometrics with these support tokens. However, if you're in a place where maybe you can't level up characters from 60 to 70, 70 to 80 because you're waiting on other things, or the circumstances allow, you can open a few of those chests for some extra Uru if you are chasing them blessings like ya boy is. All right, guys, moving on to the next one. Let's talk about Shadowlands chests real quick. I'll try and go fast here. This is gonna be another dense guide. Shadowlands shop here. You've got Odin's Blessing chests that are way too expensive. I would stay away from this. I would much rather have 40 Shadowlands chests than this one Odin's Blessing chest. But inside these Shadowlands chests, and we're gonna click on it. Nice, we didn't even get a spinny circle. Odin's Blessings, and if you scroll down, Mythic Uru. So another place you can grab those. I definitely go for gambling on these chests. And so that's a place I'm gonna get some more Mythic Uru from. Moving on here, World Boss Legend booty boxes. Let's talk about that for just a second. Shout out to the Discords, man, the new meta, and to our Discord, the Old and Gray Discord. You guys are great, man. You guys tell me all kinds of things I need to know, including the answer to this question. So I went in here, one of the takes of this video, and I was like, oh yeah, you can get Odin's Blessings and Mythic Uru from 20 plus World Boss booty boxes, like special World Boss loot chests, right? And then I looked in here. I was so proud of myself. We actually just unlocked our first 20 plus clear yesterday. And I went in here. I said CTPs, P cards, ISO. There's my Mythic Uru. And what? Yeah, you can't get Odin's Blessings out of these chests, which is really weird, but you can get Mythic Uru for whatever that's worth. In fact, I did out of my first one. That's what we got. And people in the Discord said that's true the whole way up. So even at stage 50, I'm not sure there's Odin's Blessings in here. I think the reason for that is they're technically farmable out of World Boss Ultimate, even though nobody does that, and you shouldn't either. I think that's why they left them out of the booty boxes there. But anyways, you can get Mythic Uru from those. Now, one more thing I want to show you. There are a lot of places. I'm definitely going to miss some places, excuse me, not Timeline Battle, that you can get these kind of things. Because there are a lot of places to get Mythic Uru. I imagine I missed a couple. I want to point out the PvP shops. I do not recommend anyone get Odin's Blessings, or in particular Uru, out of these shops, the arena shops. The rates, the costs are terrible. The CTP chest here is 5,500 tokens. This chest is 4,000. I would say a CTP is worth what, 5, 10 Odin's Blessings? I mean, so yeah, I would say this is an atrocious price, and I would not recommend anyone buy this. And I also wouldn't spend such a valuable currency on something like 5 or 6 star Uru, unless this chest gave you what, for 400 tokens, unless this gave me like 5 mythic Uru guaranteed, or like 10 mythic Uru, then I might take this chest. I don't know, but it doesn't. I guarantee it. It gives you 1, and it's probably a 5 star. Anyways, I'll show you Otherworld Battle 2, just to kind of drive this point home. 30,000 tokens for the OB, 40 for the CTP. Don't even think about trying to escape. That is a terrible price. And then, yeah, there are better things to buy. So I just wanted to show that to you guys. There's a lot of places in the game where you can get an Odin's Blessing, but don't recommend it. They're usually valued way too high by the game, right? So anyways, that's going to wrap it up for where to find them. Basically, like I said, I think I missed a few places. Hopefully you can help me out in the comments down below. If I did, I know there's a few more, but that should get you started if you're hunting for Mythic Uru and Odin's Blessings. All right, guys, I got a page of tips for you here. We're going to jump over to it and get started. We're going to just run through these really fast as I can, so that we can get this thing wrapped up, hopefully in less than 40 minutes this time. All right, looking at the top, we got save extra 6-star Uru for combined events for better, but still rough, chances for Odin's Blessings. This is really important. This should be true for everyone across the board, in my opinion. There's no reason you should be combining Uru hardly at all without one of these events. You might early game be able to justify just trying to get your first like couple mythics, but anyways, those events are fantastic. Wait for them, and that's going to be the way free-to-plays get the bulk of their Odin's Blessings outside of chests. Only combine rank 4 to 6-star Uru depending on gold reserves during these events. I saw a friend of mine combine everything from 1 star all the way to the top, and the gold that he spent hurt me. It hurt me. It was crazy to see. So just know that combining Uru, even when there's a discount, can be expensive. And when you consider just how many combines you would be doing to do your 1 stars all the way up to 6 stars, it is an absurd amount of gold. So do not do that. I highly recommend you stick to 4 to 6 star Uru combining. Start with your 6s, 5s if you're desperate, 4s if you're really desperate. Moving on, you may want to lock your energy attack, physical attack, and HP Uru. Very simple, very straightforward. This is what I do. You can lock crit rate, crit damage, or anything else you're sensitive to keeping. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally combine them or do anything to destroy these Uru, as they're the ones you use the most for almost every character that you build. As a free-to-play player, Odin's Blessings are difficult to gather in large amounts. Make sure you take advantage of all the OB chests from events. This is a really big one here, guys. I kind of hinted at it. Odin's Blessing chests from events are probably the biggest source of Odin's Blessings for my account. I've been really lucky with combined events. I shouldn't say that, so I'm not sure. It might be more balanced than I think, but yeah, it's going to be one of the biggest sources of Odin's Blessings for free-to-play, so don't sleep on those events. It can be easy to feel like, say, the World Boss event, where we get like the nerfed World Boss that you have to do so many days in a row and get 14 clears, and then you get the Odin's Blessing chest. Those are the kind of events that can feel like they're not very good, and you miss a day, and then you don't get the chest. It's a big mistake for free-to-plays. We don't get very many chances to get Odin's Blessings, and you need a lot of them, so you got to capitalize on all those OBs you can get. As a free-to-play low spender, try to prioritize the absolute best characters for your OB setups. Pretty self-explanatory here. You don't have a lot of Odin's Blessings, put them on really strong characters. Do not mess around putting 1 Odin's Blessing here, 1 Odin's Blessing there, which leads us to the next tip. Consider putting OBs on characters in full sets instead of 1 here, 1 there. Fully building a character with OBs the best you can will have a much larger impact, and I cannot stress that enough. I'll actually, you know what, guys? I'll show you really quick because we're cruising through this. We're gonna jump back over to the game. I want to show you my mistake. I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So with Null, we've got this nice, right, free-to-play build here. That's very nice. Moving on, we can see we got Uru. I'm working on Sentry. He's a good target. I've got some heals on him, some attack, but I'm just short on energy attack Uru. Doctor Strange would be a great target for Odin's Blessings. I've just don't have enough. And this was probably a mistake because I shouldn't have started and equipped these magic OBs before I knew I could finish the build. So it's a really good example of these just kind of floating here now. Luckily, Doctor Strange is very, very good. So probably not wasted, but not enough to have a big impact. It's just 2 magic Odin's Blessings and 1 other, I don't know if it's Insight or what that is. But anyways, this is the most criminal offense, is stuff like this, guys. On my magic, for whatever reason, I have 1 single Odin's Blessing sitting here. Terrible, terrible waste. Storm, another good character to build. And then again, I just wanted to show you on Black Widow. Who knows what I was thinking when I did this? I have no idea why I put 1 single Odin's Blessing on Black Widow. Maybe it was just a troll goat. I have no idea. But there you go, man. Crazy. So I just want to show you guys that. Don't make that mistake. Get those Odin's Blessings on your best characters and get them on in full sets. And you will notice the impact from the Odin's Blessings way, way more than, like, in that case, not noticing it at all. All right, let's see here. Catching back up to where we were. Try to put OB setups on characters that stay meta. This is a free-to-play tip, more than a tip for even mid spenders, low spenders maybe. This is a very free-to-play oriented tip here. But basically, looking at characters, for example, like Doctor Strange and Wolverine, right? Doctor Strange for PvE, Wolverine for PvP. These characters have gotten quite a few uniforms, and they tend to be really good with all the uniforms that they get. Doctor Strange is a villain with his current uniform, which gave him an extra, like, juicy spot. But even with his hero uniforms, he's been good in the past. So that's someone you might want to consider putting a build on. Wolverine, for example, not the best PvP character currently, but very, very strong. And if we think back through his uniforms, he just got the Deadpool and Wolverine uni, very, very good. Before that, he had the X of Death's uniform, which is so nice. Beautiful uniform and very, very effective. And before that, I believe he had the Phoenix Force uniform, which was also very, very good in PvP. So looking at that and then comparing it to someone who might be a bad choice, you can see down here, might be someone like Magic. The reason I think Magic might be a worse place for Odin's Blessings is Magic has been historically very bad in this game. Her most recent uniform was a crossover with Marvel Rivals. I'm hoping she gets another one that keeps her playing sort of the same way she does, but that's less likely to happen, right? So as a free-to-play player, it would make more sense for me to build someone like my Wolverine over someone like my Magic. And I left out Null and Sentry because they're kind of in a league of their own. And also, I don't know when they'll get another uni, but they're sort of an exception to this rule. But anyways, there you go. Kind of a weird tip, but a good one for free-to-plays, in my opinion. Finding a balance between Mythic Rift farming and Dispatch farming is very important for free-to-play players. Lots of Uru come from Dispatch. Basically, as I try to more aggressively farm Rifts, I'm finding that energy is definitely an issue because I am a Dimension Mission farmer, which we'll get at in the next tip. So I'm just having to keep an eye on that balance, and also just knowing that if I'm not farming Dispatch because I'm doing Rifts, I should keep an eye on my Uru and on my Uru income, because I'm losing a lot of it if I'm not farming Dispatch. I actually noticed that recently. I just had a huge drop off in my Mythic Uru income, and that's why, because I wasn't farming Dispatch as much. So just keep an eye on that balance and keep an eye on your Mythic Urus. You can consider using support tokens for Uru if you are a heavy Dimension Mission farmer like myself. Now, this is the reason I put this on here, even though it seems like, okay, yeah, I guess I could spend tokens there. I'm a player who does the maximum. I get the last contribution chest in Dimension Missions just about every single day. I'm looking for Rachel Summers. I won't give you a long explanation as to why, but you also get 40 biometrics at the end, and this is where I get a lot of my bios, and there's a lot of use for more of the items from Dimension Missions now. So I end up with a lot of tokens, and because I'm free to play, my account isn't building as quickly or as aggressively as spender accounts, so I don't need quite as many biometrics as some other players do. I need a lot, but when I get up to like enough to level 2, 3 characters, I look at things like this, maybe getting some Uru from my support tokens. So just another tip for free-to-plays or people who farm dimension missions heavily to keep in mind. Don't unequip unnecessary Uru if stats are capped. This is a big one. I'm correcting myself here. I gave some people some pretty bad advice here. Hopefully it wasn't catastrophic for anyone. Shouldn't have been the end of the world. But I was telling people doing account reviews, why are your Uru slots empty? Go ahead and put some Uru in there. Don't do that. If your stats are capped, you don't need to equip the Uru. You should always have your attack Uru. You could make an argument for HP, even in PvE, if you really wanted to. I haven't pushed far enough in World Boss Legend to need the HP yet, but I bet I'll get there. But what you don't want to do is waste Mythic Uru that you could use during a combine event just to fill the slots for aesthetic reasons. If the stats are capped, Uru won't do anything. Odin's Blessings are a different story because they always give you attack. But Uru, what good is a crit damage Uru if my crit damage is capped? So don't waste those, go ahead and save them for the combines. And the last one, always lock your unequipped OBs and always awaken equipped OBs. There's no reason not to awaken them. Like I said, my balance has shown as a free-to-play player that Eternal Flame is not that hard to come by. Granted, I do a zombie survival every week and I try to land in the top 10. But you should be able to get plenty to awaken every Odin's Blessing you get as a free-to-play player. Woo! All right, guys, that was really quick. A lot of information coming at you. I think I covered everything I wanted to in this video. I certainly hope so. If you made it this far, you are amazing, and I have a treat for you that absolutely nobody asked for. You ready for this? A couple lore tips coming at you. Uru is a metal that was forged from the first moon in existence in the Marvel Universe. Now you know. It becomes much stronger when you enchant it. It is a metal that has been used to forge many weapons that you may be familiar with, including Mjolnir, Stormbreaker, Gungear, and here's a weird one, the Destroyer armor itself, which I had no idea. Destroyer is actually made out of the same metal as Thor's hammer. Some of you probably did know that. Last tip I got for you when it comes to lore, the only place you can find enchanted Uru, or Uru, it wouldn't be enchanted when you find it, is on Nidavellir. And if you've seen Infinity War, you know dwarves be crafting this stuff. Shout out to Peter Dinklage. All right, guys. Another huge thank you to y'all for watching this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate every single one of you. If you enjoyed the video, learned anything, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. If you want to see more of these guide videos or the live stream series that we're doing every day at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I am old and gray. This is free to play, and I hope you all have a spectacular day. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks so much.